Hello, I'm Peter, a 29-year-old veterinarian, and lately, my life's been anything but boring. Growing up in a modest home, my parents, Harry and Jenna, were my biggest supporters. No matter what, they always had my back, even when things were tough. Peter, honey, how was work today? Mom called as I walked through the door, exhausted from another busy day at the animal hospital. It was good, Mom. Busy as always. But I love it, I replied, collapsing onto our well-worn couch. Dad emerged from the garage, wiping his hands on an old rag. That's my boy, always working hard, he said with pride. My dad, Harry, is a mechanic, a great one too. For as long as I can remember, he's dreamed of opening his own auto repair shop. How's the saving going, Dad? I asked, knowing he'd been putting away every extra penny for his dream. Slow and steady, kiddo. We'll get there, he winked. Harry, don't forget to tell Peter about your idea, Mom reminded him. Oh, right. Dad's eyes lit up. I've been thinking once we save enough, we could buy a used luxury car to use as a courtesy car for clients. Fancy, huh? I couldn't help but laugh. Dad, that's brilliant. Your clients would love it. As we sat down for dinner, I felt grateful. Sure, we've had our share of struggles, but we've always stuck together. The next day at work, I was examining a golden retriever named Buddy when my coworker Alex popped his head in. Hey, Peter, how's it going? He asked with a grin. Pretty good. Just finishing up with Buddy here, I replied, scratching the dog behind his ears. Listen, I was wondering if you'd like to grab coffee later. I'd love to pick your brain about that new treatment plan you developed. Sure, sounds great, I said, unaware that Alex's friendliness wasn't entirely genuine. Later that evening, as I was going through some bills, Dad called from the living room. Peter, come here. You've got to see this. I rushed in to find him grinning at his laptop. What is it? I asked. I think I found it, the perfect car for the shop. Look at this beauty, he said, turning the screen toward me and showing a sleek, used luxury sedan. Wow, Dad, that's impressive. But can we afford it? With the money I've saved, and a little help from you and Mom, I think we can make it happen. What do you say we check it out this weekend? Absolutely, Dad. Let's do it. On the weekend, Dad and I went to the dealership. The place was all shiny chrome and polished floors, making me feel a little out of place in my jeans and sneakers. There it is. Dad's eyes lit up as he spotted the car. As we approached, a salesman appeared. Before Dad could answer, an obnoxious voice cut in. Ha! Don't waste your time, Brad. These people are just window shopping, sneered a man in an expensive suit, glancing dismissively at us. Excuse me? I said, my blood beginning to boil. Oh, come on, sweetheart, he smirked, nodding toward a beat-up pickup in the lot. With bargain bin clothes, you're not fooling anyone. Dad's face fell, and that's when I lost it. Listen here, you arrogant jerk. This is my father, and he's here to buy a car. Who do you think you are? Ryan Blackwell, CEO of Pharmatech, he puffed up. And I know a time waster when I see one. Before I could respond, the dealership owner hurried over. Mr. Blackwell, I must ask you to leave. We don't tolerate this behavior here. Ryan's face turned red. Do you know who I am? Yes, and I don't care. Please leave. As Ryan stormed out, the owner turned to us apologetically. I'm so sorry. Let me offer you a special deal on this car to make up for it. Dad's eyes widened. Really? That's very kind of you. As we finalized the deal, I felt a surge of satisfaction. Take that, Ryan Blackwell. But my triumph was short-lived. The next week at work, I overheard Alex talking to our boss. Yeah, that new treatment plan for diabetic cats? That was my idea. I froze. That was my plan. I confronted him later. Alex, why are you taking credit for my work? He just shrugged. Come on, Peter. We're a team. Does it really matter who came up with it? From then on, it was like working in a minefield. My files would go missing. Appointments would get mixed up. And every time, Alex would be there to save the day. To top it off, I decided to surprise my boyfriend Eric with lunch one day. But as I approached his office, I heard familiar giggles. I pushed open the door to find Eric with Rachel, my supposed friend, in a compromising position. Peter. Eric jumped up. It's not what it looks like. Rachel looked ashamed. Peter, I'm so sorry. I didn't say a word. I just turned and walked out, my world crumbling. That night, as I sat on my bed feeling completely overwhelmed, Dad knocked on my door. Honey, you okay? I broke down and told him everything. About Eric and Rachel and how it felt like my life was falling apart. Dad sat next to me, putting an arm around my shoulders. Peter, you're the strongest person I know. These people, they're not worth your tears. You're going to get through this, and you're going to come out stronger. I wiped my eyes, feeling a spark of determination. You're right, Dad. I'm not letting them win. The next morning, I walked into the animal hospital with a new fire in my belly. No more Miss Nice Vet. It was time to play detective. I started keeping a detailed log of everything. Every time Alex took credit for my work, every misplaced file, every messed up appointment. It felt like a twisted game of Clue, and Alex was Colonel Mustard with the candlestick. One day, I even caught him red-handed, adjusting the dosage on one of my prescriptions. What are you doing? I demanded. He fumbled, nearly dropping the chart. Oh, I thought I saw an error. Just double-checking. Right, I said, snatching the chart back. Because that's your job now? As I walked away, I heard him mutter, someone's got to do it. That's when I decided to confide in Mandy, my colleague and the only person I still trusted at work. Mandy, I need your help, I said, closing her office door. It's about Alex. Her eyes widened as I explained everything that had been happening. That sneaky bastard, she whispered. What do you need me to do? With Mandy's help, we started building a tight case against Alex. But that wasn't the only storm brewing. One evening, while researching affordable medications for a client's dog, I stumbled across disturbing information about Pharmatech, Ryan Blackwell's company. They were inflating drug prices by creating artificial shortages, making it nearly impossible for people to afford medication for their pets. This is criminal, I muttered. Digging deeper, the more I uncovered, the sicker I felt. Without hesitation, I compiled all the evidence and anonymously tipped off Janet Cruz, a respected journalist known for her hard-hitting exposés. But I wasn't done cleaning house. It was time to deal with Eric and Rachel. I invited them both to my apartment, separately, of course. Rachel arrived first, looking nervous. Peter, she started, but I cut her off. Save it, Rachel. I trusted both of you. We're done here. I don't want to see or hear from you again. Understood. She nodded, tears in her eyes, and left just as Eric was arriving. His face fell when he saw Rachel leaving. Peter, please, let me explain, he pleaded. Explain what, Eric? How you and my best friend betrayed me. No thanks. We're over. Get out. As the door closed behind him, I felt a weight lift off my shoulders. But my relief was short-lived. Dad called, sounding stressed. Peter, honey, we've hit a snag with the shop. The equipment costs are way higher than we anticipated. My heart sank. How bad is it, Dad? It's pretty bad, sweetheart. I don't know if we can make this work. I could hear the defeat in his voice, and it broke my heart. Don't worry, Dad. We'll figure this out. I promise. As I hung up, my mind was racing. I needed a plan, a way to expose Alex and help Dad's business. Suddenly, it hit me. What if I could kill two birds with one stone? The day of reckoning arrived sooner than I expected. I stood outside the boardroom, heart pounding, clutching a folder filled with evidence against Alex. Mandy squeezed my arm. You got this, Peter, she whispered. I took a deep breath and walked in. The board members looked up expectantly. Dr. Chun, you requested this meeting. What seems to be the issue? For the next hour, I laid out everything. The stolen ideas, the sabotaged appointments, the tampered prescriptions. With each piece of evidence, Alex's face grew paler. This is ridiculous. He finally exploded, shaking. The board chair held up a hand. We've heard enough, Mr. Peterson. Security will escort you out. Dr. Chun, thank you for bringing this to our attention. We'll be in touch. As Alex was led away, shouting threats, A wave of relief washed over me. But it was just the beginning. The next morning, my phone buzzed with notifications. Janet Cruz's expose on Pharmatech had dropped, and it was nuclear. Ryan Blackwell's face was plastered across every news channel, his company's stock in freefall. Pharmatech CEO Ryan Blackwell faces multiple lawsuits amid price gouging scandal. One headline blared. I couldn't help but smile, remembering his smug face at the dealership. Karma is a beast, Ryan. But the hits kept coming. I got a text from a mutual friend. OMG. Did you hear about Eric and Rachel? She confessed everything to everyone. She's a pariah at work now. I almost felt bad. Almost. Amid all this chaos, I got a call from the hospital. Dr. Chun, the board would like to see you. My stomach dropped. Had I gone too far? But when I arrived, I was met with smiles. Dr. Chun, in light of recent events, we'd like to offer you the position of head veterinarian. Your innovative treatments and dedication to patient care are exactly what this hospital needs. I was speechless. Thank you. I won't let you down. As I left the office, still in shock, I bumped into Mandy. Well, she asked nervously. I grinned. Looks like you're looking at the new head vet. Her squeal of excitement echoed through the hallway as she hugged me. That evening, I drove to Dad's shop, my mind racing with ideas. I found him hunched over some paperwork, looking stressed. Dad, I've got an idea. Over the next few hours, we hashed out a plan. With my new position and connections, we secured a small business loan. I helped him develop a scheduling system to streamline operations, focusing on luxury car maintenance. Peter, this is amazing, Dad said, his eyes misty. I don't know how to thank you. I hugged him tight. You never gave up on your dream, Dad. I wasn't about to let you give up now. The weeks flew by. Dad's shop took off, becoming the go-to place for high-end car maintenance, and the animal hospital thrived under my leadership. Our patient care reached new heights. One evening, as I left the hospital, I paused to reflect. A year ago, I was struggling, surrounded by people who wanted to see me fail. Now I was head veterinarian, my dad's business was booming, and I had true friends like Mandy by my side. I realized then that by staying true to myself, by fighting back against the toxicity, I'd achieved more than I ever thought possible. And those who tried to bring me down, they were the ones who fell. Life isn't always fair, but sometimes, just sometimes, the good guys win. And let me tell you, it feels pretty damn sweet when they do. So, what would you have done in Peter's shoes when she discovered Alex stealing her ideas and sabotaging her work? Would you have gathered evidence quietly like she did, or confronted him immediately? Is there a point where being patient becomes being a doormat?